Welcome to Nellen in New York. I'm your host, Nellen Hunt. With me today is performer extraordinaire Valarie Hill. I use the word performer extraordinaire because Valarie is involved in so many things, not just performing, but her work as an artist is very far reaching, as you'll hear in the interview that's about to follow. Valarie, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
No problem. I'm great. I'm great. It's a great day today.
I listen, every day is a great day. Yes, you take it as it comes and you figure it out. You figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Valarie, what was the first song you heard that made you think, yes, this could be it for me? Not being a doctor, not being a lawyer, not being a band girl, not being, a teacher, but I want to do music.
It would have to be either Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears or Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera. Because when those two albums came out, they came out around the same time. And just being able to see these young female artists performing, singing, dancing, and actually singing. Christina Aguilera sings, it's not like she does a normal little poppy
Yeah.
something. She has soul, and it was really inspiring to me because I wanted to be that. I didn't want to just be a lawyer or be a doctor or be a marine biologist. I wanted that that appeal and that life, and it really was captivating at a young age because I was about 5, I want to say.
Oh my gosh.
So I knew from 5. I knew from 5. And here's the funny thing. At my preschool graduation, when they ask everybody, what you want to be, you know, I said Miss Universe. I
Wow.
Wendy Fitzwilliams won that year, and I said I want to be Miss Universe. So I always wanted to be in the spotlight. You know.
Big, larger than life. You,
Yes.
Valerie, you were saying when you're preschool, when you were 5, and when Wendy Fitzwilliam won, and I said to myself, oh gosh, boy, kind of old. you know,
I feeling kind of old now too.
we live in a wonderful era, I think, where more and more young women, especially, are being told they can be who they want, when they want, how they want. We're being told that the doors are wide open. We're told that the ceiling is disappearing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you mentioned Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera because when they started off, they were young, sexy, vibrant women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the pushback that that sort of image brings to your career in the industry you're involved in as a female artist?
I think that women nowadays, we have taken the power back because for a long time, being sexual, it was either praised or judged. It was
Mhm.
never, you know, it was always expected. And now we get to choose if we want to do it or not, especially in this time of 2020. Women can be fully clothed and sing like Adele, and people will praise you. Or you could be Cardi B and you could be completely, done out, and people will still praise you. And I think it's just amazing that we have that privilege now. Don't get me wrong, we're still fighting a battle because a
Mhm.
lot of us still, especially here in Trinidad, suffer with that image that, hey, you have to be sexy. If you're not sexy, it's not gonna sell, you know? So for me, I struggled with it for a long time because in bands, as a frontline singer, as a female, they want you to have that sex appeal. They want you to bring the crowd and let the male artist entertain. So it's kind of it was a struggle for me for a long time. But I finally found a balance where you don't need to be completely nude, you don't need to be completely overly sexy. You could just sing and show your passion and do what you love, and people will be attracted to that, whether it be you're naked or you're fully clothed in a complete, you know. So
You mentioned something very, very interesting, and the ease with which you said it was very telling
mhm,
when you said, As a female artist singing in a band, you were expected to bring the crowd and then let the men
Mm-hmm.
entertain them.
Correct.
Did that make you decide to go off on your own?
It did. It did. Um, Especially I want to say chutney bands. They really want the females to come and command the crowd and bring the people to the front. You're expected to dress a certain way, you're expected to speak a certain way, talk to the crowd a way, dance with people, interact. And it was something that I always had to deal with in every band. They
Mm-hmm.
would say, well, right, you're getting 5 songs, the male artist getting 15, and you just dance and sing back up for the rest. And for me, it was never enough. It's like, why should I have to be a part of the show for 10 minutes versus the whole hour and a half show?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be in front with the people. So it was a deciding factor for me. After a while, I just kind of got set up and just wanted to be out on my own. So,
We're going to take a quick break, Valarie, but when we come back, we're going to talk about what you just said, being on
mhm.
your own. Stay tuned, everyone. You're watching Ellen in New York. With me today is Valarie Hill. We'll be right back.
My name is Trouble. How do you do? You order a double, then said make it two. With that look in your eyes, on that plain Joe smile, I just know you ain't gonna please me. No chance in hell. So stop trying to start conversation about your 5-finger page occupation. Excuse me while I turn my back, 'cause you won't like it when I hit you with the facts. Boy, come give me some inspiration. Oh, stop with that boring shit, man, I'm impatient. Seems like you're the new kid on the block. Shoe with the safety on, you wasted your shot. Boy, come give me some inspiration. Can't teach you no dog, new tricks, they say. Baby, you come out here with the same routine every day. No, can't you take the hint? Whatever you're looking for, this ain't it. Just a little piece of advice. Think that you should maybe think twice. Stop trying to start conversation about your 5-finger page occupation. Excuse me while I turn my back, 'cause you won't like it when I hit you with the facts. Boy, come give me some inspiration. Come on. Oh, stop with that boring shit, man, I'm impatient. Seems like you're the new kid on the block. Shoe with the safety on, you wasted your shot. Boy, come give me some inspiration.
Welcome back to Nellen in New York. I'm your host, Nellen Hunt. With me today is Valarie Hill. Before we went to break, Valarie talked about going off on her own. Valarie, of all the things in life to do is to leave the safety and the protection of a band and
Yes,
decide that you're
yes.
doing this by yourself. from beginning to end, I would love to know what that journey has been like.
Well, first off, it wasn't exactly by myself. I have a partner in crime who is my samplist, my videographer, my producer, everything. So he kind of gave me the motivation to want to do it on my own, because we were in a band, the last band we were in, and I just decided, you know what, if I want to give this a shot, I want to give it a shot completely, and I want to dedicate myself to it. So we started off by doing cover gigs, normal shows, casinos, weddings, different things. And for a time it was an experience. I learned so much. I can't tell you how much I learned there, because it's so much different people. Every weekend is different people you're performing for. Sometimes 4 times a night, different people. So
Wow.
you kind of get a feel for everybody, and you get comfortable, and you just feel at home on that stage, you know. So after a while, about 2 years of doing cover shows, we just decided, let's one up it again. Let's start doing original music. Let's stop doing cover shows. And we started that last year, and it was going well. We released one single, Broken, and after that, COVID came,
Mm,
and all the shows got cancelled. So
wow.
by force, we just like, okay, we have no choice but to dive into this original music, because I couldn't write before. It's only last year I started to write. So it's really been an experience and a journey, and I've been loving it. So I can't wait to see what else we can one up, you know?
Someone said a long time ago, um, it's interesting that you said you couldn't write before.
Hmm.
And I forgot who the author is, but someone said if you wake up and you feel like writing, you're a writer. If you,
Hmm.
during the day, something comes into your head and you make a note, you're a writer, as with any other discipline that you choose to pursue. So I don't think it's that you couldn't write before, I think it was just, ironically, this event has now presented you with the root of saying, you know what? Let me put all the things down that have been going around in my head.
Yeah, for sure. I think I was my own worst enemy for the last
Yeah.
couple of years, because I always told myself, you can't write music, you write something, it's not gonna sound good. Like I used to really be down on myself, and I would tell any artist, don't ever tell yourself you can't do that, you can't sing that genre, you can't experiment here, you can, if you go into it with the confidence, it will happen, because that's what happened to me this year. I had no choice but to put aside all the shows, the gigs, all the plans we had, and start fresh and explore more of myself and learn to write music. So
In this whole
yeah.
journey of exploration and figuring out your strengths and that sort of thing, what has your family been saying?
Mhm.
What did your family say when you said, I want to sing, in a band, I want to be on stage?
Wow. Um. Well, they didn't take it well. I can tell you that much. They really didn't take it well. They're still not taking it well. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family is filled with accountants and managers and business people. So when I said like I don't want to do business, I want to be a entertainer, a performer, there's like, yeah, you can do that as a hobby,
Yeah.
but what about your real job? I said,
Hmm.
well, no, this is a real job, and it was a fight. As much as they let me be in bands, and my dad got me in my first parang band, but they always viewed it as a extracurricular activity, you know. And even up till this day, they tell me, when you're gonna get a day job, when you're gonna get a 9 to 5. And I said no. I said I devote too much years of my life to doing this
Hmm.
to just give up on it now. You know, People think that it's an impossible career, but if you really take a step back, the music you listen to at your wedding is done by what? Musicians. an artist, the songs you play at funerals, the movies that inspire you to become a doctor or a lawyer are all made by creatives. And I think creatives need to really be taken seriously as an art form and as a job. It is a job. And it's, I think, the hardest job, you know, creating something from nothing. And it is meant to inspire people and to make people feel something. And I think that's a great job to have.
Is there any fear? Because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking,
Mhm.
I can just go out and start singing. Of course, my friends will tell you, Valarie, please stop telling him that it's possible because we have heard him. But you know,
No, man, I don't believe that.
there's a really inspiring story in how you talk about going about doing this. You know, how much fear do you have on a regular basis with regard to this career that you've chosen?
Wow, that's a great question. I have a lot of fear with it because I'm getting older and the chance of failure is very high because a lot of people try to make it in this industry and they don't. And then you have to ask yourself, well, okay, did I waste my time? Should I continue trying? My birthday was Friday gone and I turned 27.
Happy birthday.
And I had to, thank you. I had to really sit down and reevaluate my entire career and if I want to continue along the same path. And what I can tell you is that if you're doing this, don't just do one part of it, which is what I was doing. I was just doing singing, and that is just the smallest fraction of it. You know, if you're doing songwriting, you're doing production. This year I opened a studio, video studio, and we do music videos and set design and photography and special effects and different things. And it's really nice to get involved in different parts. So
is
for
that
me,
the Black Room?
feel it. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you can't fail to me because even if I don't make it as a singer, I can still make it as a set designer or as a director or an executive producer. I love every part of this industry. So to me, failure is not an option.
It's amazing that you say that. It was either last year or 2 years ago, I interviewed the Jamaican artist Shensia, and it was
Oh
interesting.
my gosh, I love Shantia.
It's funny. My friends were, you know, they're like, "Yo, what?" And I go, "Yeah, I interviewed Shensia." I was trying to play it down, look cool, you know.
Shenyang anthem.
But she started off studying the management of music. That's what she started off her involvement in the industry in. And it was interesting that people kept saying to her, write a song, you should write a song. Sing at this, there's nobody, there's a 10-minute opening, go and sing for 10 minutes. And that's when she got involved in the performance of it. And she said that if she didn't start off the management of it, she probably would not have gotten involved because she thought that that is where her strength was. But it did give her the background to be her own advocate in this type of business because you show up, you sign a contract, and you said, I will sing for the next 2 years and you can pay me $2. And the people behind you are taking $1.50 here, 50 cents here, 29 cents here. And people think, oh my gosh, you're making all this money. And they don't realize that everybody has their hand in the pot, taking out what they think is their share before you go home with yours.
For sure.
So it's great that you opened the Black Room because you are not removed from the creation process. You're just approaching it differently.
No.
As you said, you know, should singing turn out to be not what you thought, it's great that you've taken the initiative to figure out finding your way, not just one way, but all the different angles that are possible. We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back. Stay tuned. We're taking a quick break. You're watching Melanin in New York, and with me is Valarie Hill.
we way up there. Smiling at the table, maybe financially stable, but ain't life's never fair. I'm stuck doing something that I hate, stuck in this loop every minute, every day. Was this your master plan? Keep me right in the palm of your hand. Tell me how you do it. Do the things you do without even a care in the world. It's like you got no heart, deep within your chest.
Welcome back to Nellen in New York. I'm your host, Nellen Hunt. We're speaking with Valarie Hill, who, when we started off, was performer extraordinaire, but now, she has gone on in my mind to be a magnet and an entrepreneur extraordinaire. Valarie, let's talk about the Black Room a little bit. How did the Black Room come about, and why that name?
Well, this is a very funny story. So after we wrote the first song, Broken, last year, I want to say it was last year summer, and we was like, okay, what music video we should do? And across the road from us had a building that was vacant, and we said, well, okay, I had it in my head that I just wanted a completely Black room. I was like, okay, try to find a Black studio in Trinidad. So we looked up different ones, and I had this crazy idea. I said, I want rain to fall in the whole room. Could we get that done anywhere? Every Black room we called, it only has 2 in Trinidad. Everyone we called, they said, no water, no nothing, you can't do that. So me and my partner were kind of crazy now. So we was just like, hey, what? Let me buy like 6 buckets of paint and go across the road and paint the entire room black. And it's a big room, it's not a small room.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just rigged pipes in the ceiling to set off that rain. And after that, we was just like, what if we continue this and rent it out to people and make more stuff inside it and make sets and make it, because we love movies and we always wanted to be a part of the movie business. So you say, why we don't start here? Trinidad doesn't have it, let's start. And that is how the Black Room was born, for one music video.
So, and I have to tell the fans right now, I am not being compensated for this, but if you need a room with rain, the Black Room is the place to go. That is amazing, Valarie.
Thank you.
That is really, really amazing. I mean, and once again, there is so much this event has shown us and taught us, and it really has forced us to figure out a lot of things. You know what I mean? You started out singing in bands.
It's forced us to be resourceful. We have to be resourceful within ourselves, because now, especially in this time as an artist, it's hard to get people to do certain things for you. So it's better you kind of learn the skills yourself. And that way, when it is you get to work with other people, now you have an idea of what's going on and you can better communicate with them, So it's always good to just be resourceful and know every part of your craft.
Good advice. And talking about advice, what advice do you have for the people who are going through this global event we are going through, who might say, I want to perform, I want to sing, I want to do what Valarie Hill is doing and have a room, my own room with rain.
Yeah. I would tell them, honestly, the best advice I can give you is to stop shutting yourself off and just learn. Learn every part that you can. Don't hesitate. Don't tell yourself, well, I know how to sing, that's enough.
Yeah.
Or I know how to songwrite, or I know how to perform, that's enough. No. Because there will always be somebody else in the room who has twice the talent, or twice the skill, or twice the manners. So always just be on your game. Always learn and be resourceful and be well-mannered. That's another thing. Like, be nice.
Yes.
Because there is somebody in the room who's nicer than you, and who's willing to do the work. So
Wow.
just go hard at it for me.
Wow.
That's my advice to you.
Looking at some of your videos and some of your photos on social media, there is a, what's the word? There's a tough but soft sultriness to how you perform, and your voice in
Oh,
itself is it's, I can't describe it properly enough, but there's definitely a toughness, not hard, not
mhm,
brutish or anything like that,
mhm,
but there's a toughness, but it's so tender because it's like
mhm.
to me your throat is doing this. That's the only way I can describe it. When I was listening to
Yeah.
Trouble and some others, I was
Oh,
like,
Trouble is my favorite. Trouble is
really?
my favorite. Out of all the songs I've released so far, it's my favorite. Yeah, for
How
sure.
did Trouble come about? It's kind of beginning to be my favorite too, you know.
Yeah. It was last year we went to a writing camp in San Martin. Beautiful island. Everybody please visit. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And that was actually Lala Will was the first song I wrote, and Trouble was the second. Broken was the third, and it was released first. So Trouble, I don't know, like a lot of people when I was younger in the music industry, when they met me, the first thing they would tell me is like, "You look like Trouble. You look miserable. You look, yeah." Like people had a nickname for me, like Whatless, Miserable, Trouble. So I really played with the concept, and it was just a really fun song for me because I
Yeah.
love jazz and soul music.
Yeah.
So when I sing it, it gets me excited. So it was a really nice experience in that production. And would you believe the music video for that? Did you watch it? You watched the music video, I'm assuming, with the horse.
I did.
Did you?
I was very
That
impressed.
happened. That happened in a span of 2 days. So the set
Please.
that you saw in the beginning, yeah, the
Hmm.
set you saw in the beginning of the video was done in the back room in like a day and a half. Set designed by me and my partner and another associate we have in the back room named Kristen. And it was just three people, just three of us did that whole set. And then after that, we
Wow.
did a whole 24-hour shoot. So it was from early in the morning till the next morning. So 6 in the morning till the next morning, 6 in the morning.
The wonderful thing about the age we live in is we're told that anything is possible, but a lot of times we are
Yeah,
not told it still takes time, and it still takes showing
it
up,
does.
and it takes doing the work. So Valarie, I want to thank you.
Yeah.
We could talk for hours, and I could talk with you for hours and hours and get advice
Yeah,
and that kind of thing. But I want to
for
say
sure.
thank you so very much for this teeny. This is like a teeny tiny peek into your world, and you have
It is, it is.
so much more to offer, and so much more going on. The story of the black room alone, that's a documentary right there. We'll come
Yeah.
back around again. This is not the end. This is just the
Hmm.
end of the beginning of our story, and your story that you're telling
Indeed.
people, because
Indeed.
it's I always tell people it's wonderful to hear the story of creatives, not 20.
Even when we sleep and we working,
Yeah, I hear people
because
say all the time.
most of the times it came to me in a dream. I
Yeah.
dreamt about it, or I. So we really do work very, very hard. And thank you so much, Nalan, for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. On behalf of everyone here, I'd like
Yeah.
to say thank you so much for tuning in to Nellen in New York. Thank you so much to my wonderful, wonderful, talented guest today, Valarie Hill. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed doing it. Safe and a pleasant day.